3, 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar, Creating Boom Cards with Audio. So we are super excited to be having Laurie Moulton presenting with us. Hi, Laurie.
Hello.
So thank you so much for being here with us today. This has been a very, very requested webinar. So we're presenting it to you. So Laurie will be covering different types of audio and how to use them in your boom cards, how to record your audio, and if you don't want to hear yourself or if you don't want to record yourself, where you can get that audio, how to upload it to Boom Learning, the different audio features. And after that, we'll be having a live Q&A. So if you have any questions for the live Q&A, or in the meantime, you can put them in the Q&A box that we have. And if you have any other comments to Laurie or to us, you can leave those in the chat. So we'll be sharing in the chat Laurie's store and a survey link to, get to know what your feedback is, because your feedback is super important for us. So I think that is it. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Laurie Moulton.
Great. So my name is Laurie Moulton. I teach kindergarten ESL students. So I work with 4 different classrooms, and I have 24 kindergarten students that I work with, sometimes in small groups, sometimes in larger groups. So I am used to primary kids. It's nice to talk to adults, and I really appreciate you taking your time. We all know how busy teachers are, and at the end of the day, usually the last thing you want to do is to spend time in a webinar, so I appreciate you taking your time. So I am going to be doing some live demoing, and we're going to do some creating together. But before that, I am going to start, just to keep myself organized, I am starting with a PowerPoint that has some screenshots. Part of that is just to save our, it's actually to save time, because I'm clicking between a lot of screens that I feel like it's going to take longer. So because we value your time, we're going to get right into it. So adding audio to boom cards. So first of all, my first question that I know you might be asking, because especially it takes more time, why should we have audio? And there are a couple of reasons. Some of them are obvious. One is interest. I actually started this when, I don't know if any of you were online teaching. I taught English as a second language online for a year, which was very interesting. And I found that boom cards were a way to gain student interest. It's also a way for them to have independence. And I think right now that is really crucial. If you have audio, kids, you can have directions already right in the boom card, and kids can do the activities independently, which, as if for all busy teachers, we know that that is really important. And it's also a thing that they can use at home. It increases student engagement. They are more interested in a lot of kids are interested in technology. So adding audio makes it more accessible, and it provides an immersive experience. So I'm going to talk about types of audio you can use in your boom cards. That I've used. One thing you might not think of is music. Sometimes in my introductions, I will have music. I will be giving some examples of that. You can add sound effects, and of course you can add voice, and that's usually the obvious thing. So I have, for example, this is one of my boom cards that I start with that music just to get them interested. It's just on the menu page. I'm actually going to try, and I might have to get some feedback of whether or not you can see. Can you see the link, the boom card that I just, Yeah,
we're seeing the PowerPoint.
Okay, So I might have to do a new share. Thank you. Thankfully, it's been a while since I've had to do this. So now hopefully you can see my screen. Can you see the boom card now?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Thank you for your patience. So this is one that I have, one boom card I have, and it has some different sound effects. So in this one, the kids can, this is a shortened version. They can click on the fairy 3 times and it will do different things. So this is to show the magic E, which is why we have some magic going on. So it changed twin to twine. I'll show you one more example. I'm not sure if you could hear that. Probably should have that volume up. And
yes, you can hear it.
And then you can see again. So it has just that, little extra touch, makes it a little more interactive. So now I may have to, and this is why I'm having some of this on a PowerPoint, just so that I'm not doing as much shifting. So that is one. Here is another example, and this one is one of my boom cards that has voice. And I think you'll notice, I'm going to go ahead and try to share this also. And I think you will notice the reason that I add the audio for this. So like I said, I'm sorry about this. Thank you, user error. Oh, this is not what I wanted to do. Okay. All right. Thank you for your patience. Try it one more time. Hopefully you can see the boom cards now. Yeah. So I have a puzzle and it has sight words. It's a hidden puzzle. Yeah. So the kids, it automatically, I have it set to autoplay so that it says the sight words. If they don't hear it, they can press on it again. And it reveals a hidden picture. And that's what happens if it doesn't work. And it's going to go to the end of it. And then I have some applause at the end. So that is a little bit of that. So those are some examples of what you can do with boom cards with audio and hopefully that gave you just a little taste of what it can do to increase the engagement. So now the question is, where can I find audio files? So as a teacher, I'm always looking for free things. So you may be familiar with the site Pixabay. It's known for its images, which, by the way, that's a great place to get free pictures. But if you look at the top, if you go to pixabay.com, if you go to the top, there is one tab that says music. And if you click on it, it looks like this. And you can search for music by type or by keyword. And you can find some music to add, background music. Like I said, I like it for the intro. I guess you could also use it when they completed a set of boom cards as kind of a little reward. So that is one place. So it's pixabay.com and the music tab. Now, another place you can get free music is a place that, as you can see, they are known for their sound effects. It's called zapsplat.com. And they also, if you go to the top, they have a section of royalty-free music. Not quite as many, but I do like the things that they have for kids that are quite nice. And speaking of Zapsplat, if you want a sound effect, I think the biggest library of free sound effects that I have found is zapsplat.com. Now, with a free account, they will let you download 3 sounds at a time, and then you have to wait 10 minutes, and then you can download 3 more. For me, that has been fun, that I haven't needed to upgrade, and that works fine. But if you can't wait that 10 minutes, then you can upgrade. But the sounds are free, and like I say, you can do 3 at a time, and then you can do 3 more. There's not a limit of the number with the free account. They have like pretty much any sound effect imaginable. They are uploaded by community members, so the quality can vary, but that's a great place. So that's called zapsplat.com. But I actually like to go first to this website. It's called soundeffectsplus.com. And what I like about this website is that they are all studio produced sounds. And so they're super high quality. So I always go to soundeffectsplus.com first. And again, they're free. And of course, all these you want to, credit in your details. But the Sound Effects Plus has really high quality sounds, but the library isn't as large. So I go Sound Effects Plus first, see if I can find the sound I want, and then I look at Zapsplat, or more recently now, once again, Pixabay, they have added a sound effects section, and that's pretty new. They didn't used to have that. So now on to how can I record my voice? And I don't know if maybe I should stop there for a second. Yanni, are there, or Kyle, are there any questions I need to add to answer before I head on to the next section?
Yeah, we have Andrea asking what was the website prior to Zapsplat, but I already sent the link. So everybody,
Perfect.
you have any questions?
All right. Well, just interrupt me if I need to. so I'll keep going. This part I'm trying to go through kind of fast so we can get to some live, a chance to look at some live presentation. So then the question is, how can I record my voice? Because as teachers, a lot of times, at least for me, I want to be able to put in either directions, or since I teach English language learners, I often will, I might have a listening activity that I want recorded. So the question is, how can I record my voice? And there are a couple of different ways. I think the easiest way is just to use a PC or a Mac, but I'll start with like a Windows PC. And what you would do is you can use, there's an app called the Windows Sound Recorder that's in the Microsoft Store. If it's not, it might already be preloaded on your machine. You just go find that little magnifying glass at the bottom of your screen. And if you search for sound recorder, or on Windows 10, it might be voice recorder, then there's an app that comes up that's like this, that looks like this. It's pretty easy to use. It has like a record button, and you can cut it a little bit and also play it back. And it's pretty easy to use. If you have an Apple device, I do not have a MacBook, but I do have an iPad. And I have read that this is across Apple devices, this is the app to use. It's the voice memo app. I've tried it on my iPad. It works great. It's pretty easy. The icon looks like this, and it's very similar. I took a screenshot. There's a red record button, and you can play back the sound to see if you like it or not. So that is how you get the sound at first. And then I personally like to use my phone, and I'll tell a little bit more about that. So you can just use the phone recorder, and you can use a voice recorder app. If you're using an Android, there are quite a few different options. Probably if you're using an iPhone, you'd want to use that memo one, the voice memo app. But there, depending on what Android phone you have, just search for voice recorder app and you should be able to find a good one. But you can that's how you get audio. You can improve your audio though. I'm actually not giving a good example of that because I'm just using, right now I'm with this webinar, I'm talking over my computer, just on the desktop, just like using the PC. But I do, for my boom cards, I do tend to use my phone and I add an external microphone to it. And so that is an option to make the sound a little bit better. And then whether or not you use a microphone, another way to make it better is to use a tool. There's a free tool called Audacity. It's an open source tool. And so it's free and it's actually a really great tool. You actually can, if you have that on if you're going to record on your PC, and I believe I read that this is on Macs also, you can record directly within the app. So that is an option. And the nice thing is then you can edit and remove some of the background noise. So if you don't have access to a microphone, that is another way to improve the audio quality before you upload it to Boom. That's not necessary, but if you want it even better, that's what I do, try to make my audio a little bit better on my Boom cards. The other thing is, so I mentioned that you might want to put music at the beginning of a Boom card or at the end. If you do that, sometimes the music files I found are too big because it has to be smaller than 500K. So I have used a tool like Audacity. You put it in there, you can cut it, make it shorter. And then if you change it to mono instead of stereo, it will make it smaller. That's a lot of information that you probably don't need, but that's just for you to know it's out there as an option. And last, so Boom, you can upload either M4A or MP3. The MP3s work a little better across all the platforms. So if I have an M4A, I often change the file format. And I usually use Audacity to do that. But I heard from Yanni that you can use cloudconverter.com is a super easy way to, if you have an audio file that needs to be changed, that's an option if you have a different kind of audio file. I know this is a lot of information. You will be getting a recording of this if you need to go back and listen to some of it. All right, so that's the basic of how you're going to find some sound files. So you can find them online, you can make them. But now the question is, now what do I do? You have your files, what do you do? So you need to transfer your files to your desktop computer, because right now that either your MacBook or your PC. So you need to somehow get those files to your computer. And there are, different ways you can do that. You can, use a USB drive to get it. You can email it to yourself. I've done that before. So those are some options. So you have to get it to your desktop computer, and then you have to find it on your computer. So that might be a whole webinar in itself. But so you get the files. If it is a simple, I will show you when we do the demo, I will show you how you could do a simple sound effect. That part is really easy, and I will show you. And that is a great place to start. But if you're doing audio files, like I said, you have to get it to your computer somehow. And at the end, I can take questions and answers about that too. Okay, so once you have your files and you know on your computer where they are, now it's time to upload your sound files to Boom Learning. And Boom has made this really easy. So there are actually two ways. Okay, method one, I'm going to show you, I'm a primary teacher, so I like repetition. I'm going to show you first on this PowerPoint, and then we're going to go right to Boom Learning so you can see what it looks like. So you are probably familiar with this page, with the studio page. So one way to get audio files uploaded is you go to the studio tab, will look like this, and then you're going to go to this place that says sounds. And if you click on the sounds, you will see there's a place at the top, which I circled in red so it would be clear so you can see it. You will upload the sound there. So you click that, and then that's when you have to look on your computer for where it is. So if you record it on a PC, the default is usually document sound recordings, I believe. So you find it, you pick your file, you open it, and then the sound will now be in your Boom library, ready for you to access. There's a second method. This will probably be the one I show you first. We'll see how much time we have. So the second method is, again, you go to the Studio tab, and this time you go to the decks, and like you're making a regular deck. And then, so you start a new deck, and if you've made Boom cards before, this I'm sure looks very familiar to you. You will go to the part that says sound, and you will drag the sound button to your your workspace, just like you do with adding images. Okay. And then at this point, it has an option of uploading the file. And that is uploading the sound. And that is another way you can get the sound into your sound library. And I will be doing a live demo to show you how that works. So you find the file and you open it the same way. Find it, open it, okay, and then it's in your library. Okay. Once the sound is in your library, you'll get when you will, and like I said, I will show this again, but you will select the sound you want, and that will attach it to that little speaker icon that you saw. There are some additional features that we will look at that are available for the sound block. So they are located in that bottom right-hand side. I did screenshots so you'd see it close up. So in that little box at the bottom, it says there's one of the options is allow pause. And if you have that checked, then the sound file can be paused during play. So for example, if you have music and it's really annoying, you could pause it and stop it. So, or perhaps if you had a whole sentence that you were reading, having a child read, they could read part of this, listen to part of the sentence, and then pause it, and then play it again and listen to the rest. So that's the allow pause feature. There's also an autoplay feature. So when you saw that hidden picture Boom card that I made, you probably noticed that the sight word was automatically read. That was the autoplay feature in action. And so if you want it, sometimes you just want the kids to click on the sound and you don't want them to hear it till they click on it. If that's the case, you would uncheck it. But if you want them to immediately hear the sound, you put autoplay. And then Boom has made it really easy so that you can change the sound. And it will tell you the name of the sound, and you can click here and it will bring you back to that screen to change the sound. Okay. Now, this is a really great feature that Boom now has, and it's a new feature. So now the appearance of it used to be the speaker icon. When I first started using audio, I would hide the speaker behind another picture if I didn't want the speaker showing. Now Boom has fixed that, and it can easily be changed. So let me go back. So again, in that bottom right-hand side, there's a section that is called background, the background image. So you click on the background image, and then you can replace that speaker icon with another image, like a piece of clip art. So if you do that, here's an example. I changed the speaker into a nice pumpkin. And so, and now that object has the same sound qualities as that speaker would. So if you had an autoplay, a kid opens that boom card and whatever sound is attached to the pumpkin will just start playing. And they don't see the speaker, they just hear the sound. I know this is a lot of information, especially on a Wednesday night. Thanks for staying through this. So there is another sound capability that Boom just added, and it's called the voice memo feature. Now, I'm excited about this feature, especially for my second language learners, because I often want to be able to hear their voice and hear how they are able to respond orally. I imagine speech teachers would enjoy this too. So if you check this allows voice, there will be, when the child uses the boom card, they have the option to record a response, and then you can hear that oral response. So this is a really great feature that I'm glad Boom has added. So now it is time for us to create, but I can pause right now. Are there any questions that we want to have answered before we head on? Because I know that's a lot of information there.
Yeah, I think we can, you can share your screen to show how to do things. I don't know if anyone wants to comment. What do you want to see? I was thinking you can show how to share, how to change the background of the audio. And
absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through how to do a few things. Yeah. So I will
put in the chat, like, what do you want to see? What do you want Laurie to show you?
All right. So we're going to go ahead and try this. Okay. So here's the studio tab at the top. You scroll down. I'm going to do method 2. This is probably, I would imagine a lot of you, if you've made boom cards before, this is how you start. So we're just going to start from scratch. We're going to make a deck. We're going to do a new deck. Okay. And like I said, you can go ahead and ask me questions as I'm creating. So I'm just going to start and by adding an image before I add the other things. Halloween's coming up. We'll play around with some Halloween things. So I'm actually going to start with the second card. We're going to add a sound, and like I showed in the PowerPoint, you're going to drag the sound icon onto the workspace. And I'm going to show you how to upload a sound. Okay, like I said, I'm going to show you how to add a sound effect. It is quite easy. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So you're going to upload a sound, which we actually will. Actually, as I show you that, let me, see, this is why I do the PowerPoints usually first, because I am better at it. So I'm going to show you, we're going to go to Pixabay. I want to show you how to get a sound, So we're going to go to Pixabay. We're going to go to the sound effects tab. And I'm going to search for a magic wand sound. We can check. Sure, I like that sound. We're going to use that one. So notice at the bottom of the screen, there's a download option. I'm going to download this magic wand sound. And of course, if I am actually doing this beyond just for demonstration, I would copy the URL to use to show where I got this from. Okay, so I'm going to download it. I downloaded it. Okay. So now I have a sound on my computer. Now I'm going to upload it. So I'm uploading the sound. I don't want clip art, so we're going to go, it's in my downloads folder. Okay, here's the magic wand. It is an MP3 file ready to use. So I click on the magic wand, I opened it, and now it's in my library. And if I click on it, now this sound is the magic wand, or it should be. You can double check. It will tell right here. You can actually play it. And yes, that's the sound I was hoping for. Okay, now a speaker icon just doesn't seem very magical. So I want something a little bit nicer. So I'm going to change the background. I'm going to change the way the speaker icon looks. So if you remember, we said it is down here on the right-hand side. There's an option to change the background image. And look, there's a nice little pop-up that comes there to make it larger. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to change it. I'm going to make some nice little stars. I do need to make it a little bit bigger. And this is a GIF or GIF, however you like to say it. Okay, and now I have some beautiful magic stars. I'm going to go back to the first. So when my students get the answer correct, they're going to be brought to this magic star. We'll preview it, see if that works. Oh, you see, I made a mistake. It didn't play automatically. So I'm going to go back. I clearly don't always do things right the first time. So, and then remember at the bottom, the sound properties, I want it to autoplay because I want the immediate feedback when they get the answer right. So I'm going to check autoplay. So now that should work. When we test it out, it should autoplay that sound. But we also need something for them to do. And I'm going to show you another way to add this to their learning activity. So I'm going to make a quick Halloween sight word activity. I have a folder here of sight word sounds that I have pre-recorded. So this would be where, this is the one where I used my phone, I got the files and I uploaded it previously. So I'm going to add the word we're at the beginning of kindergarten, so we're pretty simple right now. And again, I don't want the speaker icon, so I'm going to go change the background image. It is Halloween. Oh, I need my Halloween folder. That would help. There we go. All right. We're going to have this trick-or-treater. Again, I do need to make it a little bit larger because it's bigger than a speaker. All right, so now, and I do want this one to autoplay. I would have directions, but for this quick demo, when they open the card, it's going to say the sight word I. I'm going to make this a drag and drop. If you've done this before, this is going to be my drop zone. And now I'm going to add some draggable sound blocks. Okay, so here's my sound. I'm going to have one is going to be I, and I'm going to change the background image. This is going to be the word I for a piece of candy. Make it a little bit bigger for them to drag. I will make it draggable. Add it to the drop zone. Okay, so they drag it to the ghost and and that will be the correct answer. Let's add another one that's not correct. So once again, we'll add a sound. Let's do it. Change the background image so it shows it. Make it a little bigger. Yanni knows I dropped my mouse right beforehand, so I'm using my keypad. So, all right, I'm going to make that draggable. Now, I don't know. So I'm showing you a lot. I do like to use the Flow Magic especially for my little sound effects. So I'm going to I changed it to Flow Magic. I know that's a whole nother thing, but just humor me. So, and to make it, I'm going to add an arrow to go to the next. This is actually another webinar so you may or may not know how to do this part. So for this, if it is correct, we're going to link to the next card. It's a conditional link. And I think this should work. So but it might not, we'll find out. We'll problem solve. So let's preview it. Okay. So the word was I need to choose the candies that says I. This would be good for a practice slide because when the child clicks on it, oh, I'm right. I'm going to put it in the candy bucket, and I am going to go to the next slide and see if I'm right. Woohoo, I'm right. And now I have that little special extra thing going on. So, and then once again, I should mention, so remember at the top, I can add a check mark and allow voice. And now if I preview it, you'll notice that there is a recording option. And now the child can record. We'll do a practice test. Okay. And then you can play it back. Test. So the kids in this case, you could have them read the sight words as they do the boom cards. So that's just another thing that voice memo features. It's a nice feature. All right. I've shown you a lot. So I'm sure that's a lot to take in. What questions do you have? And is there anything else you want me to show you?
Perfect. Thank you very much for showing that. I loved it. I've seen this feature being used in different types of boom cards. I remember I used one with my students that it was kind of like this. I think it was a CVC word boom card, and they were able to hear each sound and create a word. So that was amazing. Thank you, Laurie.
Yeah, especially for primary kids, having that sound is really helpful.
Yeah, like totally.
And they love the sound effects. They get really excited about that. I will say that.
Exactly. And it's like you show in the beginning, you can use like sound for special effects, like the one that Laurie showed earlier today. I think it was like a fairy, and then the sound like a background sound, a music. So I love that. I also I saw one boom card that was like about the airport, and they have like sound, like the background sound of an airport, like everybody like walking and passing their backpacks, etc. So yeah, you can do like many things. So you can let your creativity flow.
And the kids love it.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a couple of questions. So we have here Bianca asking, is Pixabay free for commercial use?
It is free for commercial use, which is one of the reasons I love it. So they prefer if you give credit, but yes, it's free. You can look at the
terms of services.
The terms of use. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a long day. I've been teaching all day too. So yes, it is free. And that is a great place for images too. So
yeah, exactly. I think they even have video, like they have a lot of things there. And I took a look at the terms of use, and they even have like the suggestions. They say like you don't have to, let me see. Yeah, it is not required to credit them, but if you want to, they have examples, and it will say something like sound effects from, and the link to their page. Right. So that'll be kind of like what you will put on the acknowledgements on Boom Learning. So
Right. And I think it's just professional courtesy to credit them. But yeah, it's not required, and it is free. So that is a great site.
Yeah, I also look for the SAPS plat, and they do require you to link to the page.
Yes,
So
they do.
I believe it will be kind of the same thing as Pixabay. So, but Pixabay doesn't require you to credit them. So.
Yeah. Yes, and sometimes those terms change, so you always want to reread them, before you use them.
So we also have Nancy asking, how do you give credit, the website or the creator? I think
so. And on your details page, there is in the about section, there's a description, and then there's the acknowledgement box right here, and that's where you would credit, the clip art and the sound effects.
So we have more questions, but we also wanted to ask you a couple of questions, Laurie.
Absolutely.
And first, we want to know what motivated you to start creating boom cards with audio.
Well, like many of you, something happened in March 2020 that kind of changed my life, and I ended up being one of the online teachers, and I was just looking for ways to get my kids excited about learning and actually being able to draw them in and helping them to grow academically when we were online. And boom cards were a lifesaver, and I still use them now. So it's changed the way I teach. So that is how I started. And since I teach second language learners, the sound component was really critical, particularly the voice audio. But then I have added the other things to get them interested.
And what's been your students' reaction to your boom cards, the ones that you use audio?
Yeah, they love it. In fact, I sometimes do it in small groups or even larger groups if I go in and do a full class lesson. And they especially love, the sound effects when they, finish a puzzle or get the answer right. And they think it's really engaging for them.
Yeah,
they love it. Because kindergartners get excited about pretty much anything, but they do love it.
Yeah, but like with sound and special effects, I think it's like a little spark.
It does, right.
And so let me see. So does the audio file needs to be MP3?
So Boom does now use the M4A. I believe that's right. Sometimes I forget my numbers and letters. Yes, M4A. And so it will use both, but the MP3 works more consistently across, is a little better. So that's preferable. Mostly when you download sounds, they're usually MP3. So it's usually only maybe some, depending on how you record your voice, it might be an M4A, and then you might, if it's not working on the devices that you're using, you might want to consider changing it.
Yeah, and that will be with cloudconverter.com. That's the page that Laurie mentioned earlier, that you can convert it like super easy. So you can go there and convert your audio to MP3. So it will be like better in boom cards.
Yep, so super easy to do that. Or like I said, if you use Audacity for improving the audio, you can do that in Audacity also.
So do you have a specific microphone that you love, or do you use your phone?
Like I said, this is not a really good example because it was just easier for me to use my PC while during this webinar. But for my boom cards, I have a microphone I use from Movo Photo, MOVO PHOTO. I did a lot of online research and this one there's a lot of bang for your buck. So they're really great microphones and they're for a good price, which as teachers, that's really important. And they have a pretty good variety. And the other thing about them is that they have good customer service, and they have the microphone I got came with instructions about how to use it. So and it's pretty easy. You just plug it in.
Yeah. So that goes along with a question that we received, and it says, how do you send a sound you record on your cell phone to your computer?
Yes, I was wondering if people would have that question. So there are different ways. So I personally, I plug my phone into my computer with a USB cord, but there are a couple of other options. One, you could, like, if you have, you could upload it to a cloud file. So like if you have like a Google Drive, or if you have to the iCloud, if you're an Apple person. So if you upload it to the cloud, then you can access it from your computer. Or a really simple way is you can share it and email it to yourself and then download it. I've done that too. So if you only have one or two, that works.
Yeah, I now have a Mac computer, but before I used to do that. I used to send my audio to my email, and then I'll download it. But then now that I have my Mac, for those Apple users, what I've done is I recorded it in my phone, and then with AirDrop, I'll pass it to my computer. That'll be it. It will be super easy.
And
so that will be with the voice recording app.
Yeah, do you use the voice memo app?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So it's the one that comes with the iPhone. So
right, and that goes across the iDevices. So that is good. Yeah, so, and the emailing thing is kind of a hack way, but it works. So that's an option.
Yeah, that's always like anything.
Yeah, right.
So we have one question from Bianca, and it says, I teach first grade. If students are working on a drag and drop to complete a sentence, is there a way to have the sentence read once they drag the option into the sentence? So
as I hear that question, what I think I would probably do is have some kind of icon or something, like maybe even a shape. When you are done, click on the red triangle and have the red triangle be a sound file that has the whole sentence. Mm-hmm. And they can push it more than once. And you might want to allow that pause feature if you do that.
Yeah, and I just thought of an idea, and it will be using the Flow Magic like feature. Maybe you can have them to be like back and forth between cards and be like, okay, I just made it, then go to the next card to hear if it was okay, like if it was correct. So and then they can continue, or
that would
come
definitely
back.
Work too.
Yeah, I think I've seen that in some boom cards. Okay, and so let me see, I believe we have another one. Oh, this is like a random question. Can you please confirm if this video will be on YouTube channel? And yes, you'll receive a recording in the follow-up email, and this will also be uploaded to YouTube. So you'll be having that. Another question is, let me look where it is. Is there a link? Yeah. If I use, it was the same about credit. If I use the sound effect, how do I give credit for it? Just list. This is good because it is asking if it goes in the detailed sections. So I don't know if you can share now that you share.
So here's the details. So there's the description where you tell about the card, and then there's the box at the bottom and that's where you can type and put in the acknowledgements. You can say where you got it from.
And that browse button, like right on the top of that box, if you got any image or something or a font.
Oh, right. There are a lot of them.
Yeah.
So so the browse, I don't know, I think they're mostly images. Maybe eventually they'll have sounds up there too. You never know.
Yeah, right now
it's what Boom has in store.
Yeah, right now it's images and fonts. So those are But you can credit any author from there if you got that from the Boom Learning page. So that's how you do it. Thank you, Laurie, for sharing
Yes.
that. And so we have here, how does using audio with boom cards address student accessibility needs?
So adding the audio can help in a lot of ways. So as a second language teacher, that's really important. If a child has an IEP, they might need things read to them. So even an older child, activity could be created that could be read to that child. And it might have implications even for visually impaired kids. So they might be able to access learning with the audio in that way too.
Yeah, exactly. And we were thinking about, you can also use this for, let's say, a music teacher that it's teaching like a, I don't know, like a specific tone or something. They can read the note, the musical notes, and then record themselves, and then they can compare like how they're sounding and what's the
I hadn't
actual.
thought of that. That's fun.
Yeah, and like as you mentioned, for like ESL students or like SOPs, and you can use it for practice. So you have the vowel A, they can record themselves saying A, so they can compare themselves and like practice that sound. Yeah, for pronunciation, etc. So that can be like different ways teachers can use the voice memo feature.
Right, and remember the voice memo part is at the top here, the top right hand side, and all you have to do is check it, and then that feature is available on your boom cards. It's a great new feature.
Thank you. So we have here Meg asking, is there a free library we can access of boom cards already prepared? LL. So I don't know if you're saying like boom cards that have audio or audio in boom cards. I don't know if you want to answer, Laurie.
So I would imagine, I don't know for sure, if the authors put audio in the title, if you searched with audio, and then you can sort by price, and then the free ones will appear first. That's how I probably would do it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. I've seen in the store authors putting in the title that the deck has audio. And also for authors, they can put like keynotes and keynotes, no, it's keywords. I'm sorry.
Oh, right. It's so, under the, probably under the, is there audio now on that?
I think it's like, oh, that's subject. So in the search, you can put like a keyword
right,
or with audio.
Yes.
And that way, that way you'll be able to find boom cards with audio, or you can, be more findable in the store.
So so it depends on how the author set it up. If they put in audio, which I usually do, if I think of it. So
let me see. I believe we have. So we've been having like a lot of questions. Let me see.
There was a lot in this. I know.
Yeah. Okay. Can you confirm? Oh, wait. Students are working. Oh, yeah. We already answered that one. Okay. So we have Jean Marie asking, is there someone we can reach out to if we have trouble adding sounds once we try this? So I'm pretty sure you can reach out to Laurie, but we do have customer service. So you can reach out to us at help@boomlearning.com. I'll be mentioning this after we finish this. So I want to let Laurie say goodbye to all of you guys, and then I'll be giving away these details. So
all right. Well, thank you. Thank you for listening and giving up your precious time, which we know as teachers is very precious. So I hope you can have some fun. I hope you learned a little bit. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Laurie.
All right.
We were so excited to be having you. Thank you all for those claps. We are so happy we have Laurie presenting with us this webinar that was super requested. And so hopefully you get to try the audio feature now or any day now. So if you have any questions regarding audio or anything, let me share my screen so you can see. So there you have it. You can email us at help@boomlearning.com, and we'll be answering all of your questions regarding any topic related to Boom Cards, or you can even call us at 1-833-WOW-BOOM, and you can call us. We can talk on the phone. You maybe be talking with me, so I'll be more than happy to help you all with your questions. So right now you'll be finding in the chat box a link to our YouTube page where you can find the recording and all of the recordings for our previous webinars. We have one about flow magic, about creating different types of Boom cards, creating with PowerPoints, a lot of webinars. So you can watch this webinar and more webinars on our YouTube channel. So remember, we have a feedback form. This is super important for us to know your feedback and learn how to improve in these webinars. So thank you all. Thank you again, Laurie, for being here with us. And I'll see you in the next webinar. Now that I mentioned that, we have an Intro to Boom learning webinar next Wednesday. So if you have anyone new to Boom Cards, or if you want to recommend Boom Cards, we'll be having an Intro to Boom learning webinar next Wednesday. So now, thank you all. Thank you, Laurie, again. You were amazing. I loved it.
Thanks.
So
Good evening.
have a good night, everybody.